Hey guys, we're working on a GMC Sonoma, doing the radiator, same thing as a Chevy S10, Blazer, Bravada, Jimmy, all the same. We got a 10 millimeter here on this cover. We got our flathead screwdriver. Loosen up our clamps to the air intake. Somebody put this one on wrong, so it was in a weird position. We got these little pop clips in here. We're just gonna take them out, get a little tray to put our stuff in. Some of these are already missing. That's all right. We want to get these out of the way. Probably grab a bungee cord. I'm gonna pop the middle of these clips out. And this should be able to pop off of here now. We've got one wiring harness here. We'll unclip that. And this whole doohickey is wrapped underneath the upper radiator hose. Now you want to drain your upper radiator hose, or I mean your radiator. It's on the driver's side, the bottom of the radiator. But it's broken off on this one, so I can't drain it. If we look at our new radiator here, there's a drain right there, a little hex on the end. Loosen that to drain your radiator. We're gonna grab a bungee cord to keep these AC lines out of our way. We just need to find something good to clip them to, something sturdy. Now they're out of the way. I'm just gonna pop the upper radiator hose off so that I can take this out easily. So we'll grab some clamps. Grab some pliers here. This is a spring clamp. Squeeze it together and work it off. Ooh, that's tight. Shouldn't be on there that tight. Oh, it backed off a certain amount and it doesn't want to go any further, but I'm working it. I have to use my screwdriver to help squeeze it over. There we go. Now usually you have to twist these hoses to kind of like break them free. This radiator's bad, so we're not worried about hurting the plastic. Kind of prying it over. Radiator took a hit. So it's already like drained up to that point, so we're not going to lose anything. And we'll grab this big old plastic piece out of here. Took this hose back, those AC lines. Now we've got 10 millimeter bolts holding the fan shroud together, 2 on each side. I'll get a little extender for my air ratchet. Woo! Over here. These are rusty. If they're rusty like that, it can break the plastic in between. So keep an eye on that little clip. Yeah, we're gonna go manual with this. They're so rusty, the air ratchet. Go by hand. Plastic's already damaged in that spot. I'm just kind of keeping an eye on it so I don't damage the plastic any further. If it started to, then I'd probably put some vice grips or something on the clip to keep it still. Maybe wire wheel the end of it, get the threads cleaned, use some PB blaster, whatever we got to do. This one's coming off a lot easier. I like that. Clip's not moving around on me. Gonna probably use the air ratchet on that one. Let's check out this side with the camera. Here's the clips that hold them in there. You can grab those with a vice grip or something if they want to shear through the plastic. Let's see how these ones come off. Oh yeah, super easy. Could dig that. I like it. All right, let's get our 3 bolts off from here. Already took one off. Now we got our top half of the shroud off. We got this hose that feeds the reservoir to take off on the radiator. Just pop that right off. And this is what we got. Now we've got transmission cooler lines over on this side to take off. Oil cooler lines, nope, not on this model. The replacement he gave me, the used one he pulled out of a truck, has the oil cooler lines. That's fine. Should still fit in there, no problem. So this plastic clip pops off of the back of there. Boom. It's supposed to be on there. It's not on this one. And if you look at this clip, there's a little C-clip in there. I like to use a little pick to get those out. Now, if these lines are really rotted, I see it all the time here in Michigan, that they're rotted right here and they won't spin. That's not good. You gotta work them with PB Blaster and sometimes replace the line. But these ones don't look bad at all. We'll be able to get these. Now, the tool I use to get those little clips out is a little hook. Little hook tool. Try to get up on one side of it. And don't lose these little clips. You're gonna need to put them back in. Do not lose them. They can come flying off. So That's how I grab them out of there, with my thumb on the back of them so they don't go flying. There's one hook out, or one clip, and the other one is going to be a little more of a challenge. But we got to get this shroud out of here. Let me get the plastic cover off of this guy. It doesn't want to come off with just my hands. I'll grab a flathead. There it goes. This one's a little more rusted at the bottom, as expected. See if I can get my hook in there and get this next clip out. Looks like it might be rusted in there a little bit. Yeah, let's get the other half of the shroud out. That way, we have a little more room. Alright, so we're going to go up in the air with it. Join me for this adventure. Let's see what we got here. Right up here is your shroud, other half of the shroud. You got these little clips right here that we need to get out of. There we go. To get that half of the shroud loose. So let's see if we can snag a flathead screwdriver. Trying to do this in like real time. Ooh, little spin on me, camera. Trying to press it in and up at the same time with one hand is just not working. Do not want to come out of there. Come on, squeeze in there, brother. Let me grab a skinnier screwdriver so I can kind of open it up a little bit. There we go. Open it up a little bit with a skinny screwdriver. Plastic's pretty stiff, pretty old. Gotta try to get in between the clip and the plastic of the shroud. There we go. Woo! Pushing that over the top of the engine, getting it out of my way. All right, we're now losing water to something. Must have moved something somewhere. I think it's this little hose right here. Yeah. It's just this little hose to the coolant reservoir. Came down too low. Started losing water from the coolant reservoir. Looks like this guy just put water in it to get her going. Now we're like wide open here, right? We can get to the clip for the transmission line right here. Honestly, I don't even see a clip in it at this angle. I saw it from the top though. See, the whole radiator is pretty much loose at this point. We've got a radiator hose holding it in there. I want to get the transmission lines off first. All right, we finally got our fitting off of there. There's the bottom half of the shroud with that reservoir hose on it. Now, this guy was really rusty down here. I finally got the clip out. Took some persuasion. And then this line was seized to the fitting. It's supposed to spin around. It spins now. And it's supposed to come out of there, but it's not coming out of there. So I started turning this with an 18mm wrench. Had to clean it off for the 18 to fit. I started spinning it back and forth just a little bit so we don't twist the line. Lots of PB blaster, just working it, and finally the line broke free of the fitting. It's still jammed in there. I'm going to try to get that fitting out and clean it up. But it spins now, and it's out of there. Only thing holding this radiator in now is this radiator hose, and with the shrouds out of the way, we can get a straight shot down on the squeeze clamp. Still a little coolant left in there. I put my coolant bucket down there to catch it. So we are all disconnected. I kind of just wrapped my trans hose up there out of the way so I can pull this straight out. Now we got to work on transferring stuff over to the used radiator that he gave me. Still got a radiator cap on it. So that's cool. We're going to spin these guys around. And there we are. Bada boom. All right, this fitting looks just about as rusty as the other one. I think what I'm gonna do is just, this has an extra fitting there. It's a little, well, it's a little different, but should be the same fitting right here. So we're gonna just take this fitting right off, and on the other side screw the fitting that's still in there, just tighten it right on there. So yeah, nothing really to transfer over. See, we actually have a drain plug on this one where that one was broken off. That's cool. All right, let's get this one put in. All right, we got our newer radiator in there. Before I did anything, I had the radiator lifted up a little bit and got that fitting lined up. It's a little bit of a pain to line up the fitting with the line in the middle of it. Make sure you don't cross thread it. It's pretty easy to do. So I got that all the way hand tight as far as I could go. Haven't wrenched on it at all. That's in there. Beautiful. All right, so we're gonna reverse order everything. Let's get our trans lines on tight and put the lower radiator hose back on. All right, we got our trans line fittings on. This one, it came out of the fitting like it's supposed to, so I just popped it in there, put the clip in. That one I tightened down. Now I got the bottom part of the shroud in and locked into the grooves from the top, no problem. I ended up taking the reservoir hose off of the bottom of the shroud just so I could like twist it underneath the, I kind of went like a clockwise motion to get it around the clutch fan there. So I'll lift it back up in the air and reattach that hose and feed it up through here where it goes here. Now we got to put the other half of our shroud on. So we'll get everything put back together. Yep, that lower radiator hose is back on. So we can now attach our upper. There are bushings that the radiator sits in. So make sure those didn't stick to your old radiator. They go right here on those little pegs. Make sure those are down on the frame and put your new radiator into those slots. And this, you just gotta line up all the bolts, and there's little cushions at the top of this that fit into your radiator, so line those up. Now we can put all of our bolts back in. And remember, our upper radiator hose was in the way of the air intake, so get your air intake on first before you reattach your upper radiator hose. So we're just going to start these in by hand. And get those tightened up. Plastic's a little warped, a little funny. See if we can get some light down in here. These guys all lined up. Perfect. Before I put that air intake on, I want to make sure I run my reservoir hose back to the radiator. Just make it easier on myself. 10 millimeters. And after we get everything put back together, we're going to want to fill up the coolant, let it heat up to temperature, cool it off. After it cools off all the way, don't open your radiator cap hot. After it cools off all the way, top it back off. Maybe check it one more time after that, after another run. And that ought to do it. Alright, so I just got to run that reservoir hose up here to here, clip it into the bottom of the shroud, put my air intake on, tighten the two clamps, don't forget about your wiring harness, and put our upper radiator hose back on, clamp that back on, put our AC hoses back in their groove, fill it up with coolant, run it, shut it off, let it cool, run it again, top it off. Should about do it. Thanks for watching, guys.